Rabotai Yekarim, when you forget that you're a Jew and you start desiring to become a goy, even if you're still wearing a kippah, even if you're still growing the beard that's for free, even if you put a kisui rosh like the Rambam, even if you're wearing all types of modest clothes that no one can tell anything about you, sometimes not even whether you're a male or female. You're so modest. But you want to do things like the goyim. Like, you want to celebrate Thanksgiving. You want to celebrate Thanksgiving because it's an opportunity to say thank you. As a Jew, Chazaku Baruch, as a Jew, this is a very serious problem. Number one, you're supposed to say thank you practically from the second you wake up, every single second that you're awake, and until the second that you fall asleep. And the only reason you're patur from doing it after you go to sleep is because you're sleeping. That's it. Meaning if you are awake throughout the night, you have to continue saying thank you. So it's not that you're actually patur from the mitzvah, that you don't have to do mitzvah when you're sleeping. It's that you're anus. You can't. You're sleeping. So to say, no, I'm going to have Thanksgiving because that's what they do in America. And if you don't like it, why do you live in America? Some Jewish people tell me. Well, let me tell you a few things. Some people want, we're going to go first on the halachic aspect of it, and then we're going to go on other things. Both will affect everyone. Now, many people in the last couple of days that have asked me this question of whether we should celebrate Thanksgiving, eat some turkeys. We spoke about it briefly on Sunday, and I explained briefly that if you want to eat turkey, you can eat turkey every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the rest of your life. No one really cares. There's no halakha that forbid you from eating turkey. I think you're going to be a very sleepy person if you eat that much turkey, and probably very fat too, but there's nothing else, there's no asul, there's no like halakha, no turkey. Enjoy, as long as it's kosher, enjoy with stuffing, without stuffing. If you want, I can teach you how to fry it, which is very delicious actually. You put it in a nice, I'm going to teach you after. It's delicious, much more delicious than you put it in the oven. Fryer, you put it with the oil, takes 25 minutes, maximum an hour and a half, depends on the size of the turkey. Instead of 6 hours. You want to eat turkey? Enjoy the turkey. But that's not what people are asking. People are asking is, can they eat turkey as part of a holiday? Because they heard that Rav Moshe Feinstein, alav shalom, zchuto tagen aleinu, said it's okay. Now, practically every single person that tells you that has not read what Rav Moshe Feinstein said, because he didn't say that. That's the best part about it. Meaning that if your rabbi in your Bet Knesset said, no, it's okay, to Rav Moshe Feinstein said you want to have turkey, he said it's okay. Rav Moshe Feinstein, Gdol Ador, previous generation, he said it's okay. Rav Moshe Feinstein, you can't go, you're going to go against Moshe Rabbeinu, you may have better luck. Go against Rav Moshe Feinstein, Gdol Ador. He said it's okay. The rabbis are saying this. Rabbis are saying, Moshe Feinstein said it's okay. I looked into it. Rav Moshe Feinstein mentioned the halacha 4 times. First in the 1960s, I believe it was 1964 or 67, and then again a couple of times in 1981. In no place, anyone that reads the language will get the actual impression that it's okay. But they will get the impression that something is okay if they don't read the whole thing, which is that it's okay to eat turkey. That it's okay. It's okay to have a meal on the 25th, which happens to be the day of Thanksgiving. It's okay to have a meal. But what's not okay is celebrating Thanksgiving. What's not okay is ever doing it again. Meaning, if you happen to have a turkey meal, with a bunch of friends or by yourself, and it happens to be on the same day as Thanksgiving, once in your life, no problem, enjoy. No one cares. But if you're going to do it again next year, now we have a problem. Now you just added a mitzvah to the Torah. You just became a kofar by the entire Torah. Why? You added a mitzvah. You added a mitzvah. Why? If you did it once, then it's not a mitzvah. It's just you happen to have a meal. You happen to have a meal and it happens to be that day and you decide to eat turkey. But if you're doing it because it's Thanksgiving and everybody has off from work and it's Black Friday the next day, a good day to shop if you are suicidal, and all of those, you added this to your life, like Thanksgiving became like another day. It's not a day that you go to Knesset, you don't say Hallel, you're not going to church, hopefully, you're not doing all that. But nonetheless, you added that there is another day in the year that means something. There is something there. There's like a special meal. There's a special something. It has some type of significance. You, my friend, have just added a mitzvah to the Torah, whether you're a Jew or a Gentile. Meaning, it's not only forbidden, absolutely forbidden, for Am Yisrael to do this. It's forbidden for the Goyim. Why? You invented a holiday. You're not allowed to invent holidays. You want to eat turkey once in your life, once every 17 years, or randomly on that day it happens to be, no problem. No one's ever going to talk to you. No one's ever going to question it. But no one does it that way. Why? Everyone has their Thanksgiving thing that they do. They wake up really early in the morning, all psyched up. Everybody's 70 pounds overweight, but they want to play football. All of a sudden, everybody became a football player. They all go to the field at 8 o'clock in the morning so they can play, break half their body, and then appear so they can eat enough turkey to repair the body, and then hopefully they survive the next day. Everybody wants to play football. Why? Because we want to feel like the players we're going to watch while we eat turkey on the big screen TV that's completely not allowed in Judaism, that's in the house. We're going to watch television. It's going to have basketball and football especially, with all of the immodest women of the world dancing on the screen, with a special halftime show of more nakedness. A special halftime show where everyone practically is naked. I think next year they're going to be mamash naked. Right now we're like almost there. It's like see-through. A special halftime show. And everybody gathers around. Come, honey. The biggest zonah in American history is coming to sing for us. Come, bring the kids. Honey, come. You bring the little innocent kids. Neshamot teorot. They haven't sinned yet. And you make them watch this garbage. You make them watch this woman practically in an underwear, if that much, bichlal. Say, come, honey, come see it. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't that voice beautiful? Who's looking at her voice, bichlal? But we have to eat the turkey. And we have to watch the football game. Rabotai Yekarim, the Torah Akdosha says, and Rav Moshe Feinstein, alav shalom, says there are multiple reasons that you're not allowed to do this. Number one, you're not allowed to add a mitzvah to the Torah, whether you're a Jew or Gentile. You're not allowed to add a holiday to the Torah. Second reason, for a Jew, bechukoteim lo telechu. If something became a min'ag even, a custom of the goyim, you're not allowed to do it. Now, we're not saying that if they eat cereal, you're not allowed to eat cereal. If they wear ties, you're not allowed to wear ties. No, we're not talking about things like that. We're talking about things that are considered significant. Things like special days, special celebrations. Things that have really no foundation whatsoever, no connection to Am Yisrael whatsoever. Things that are, in many cases, against our Torah. Either way, this is a very serious problem. Once you start adding another day to your calendar as a special day that you're going to gather your friends and family, You just added a chok, a law, to the Judaism, which is against the Torah. So we're not allowed to do such a thing. The third reason is that I believe is something that's as obvious as day, but apparently no one actually studies Gemara or remembers this, is that Thanksgiving, like we said, it's for Goyim. It's not Jews. The Goyim invented it. So Thanksgiving has become an opportunity for all of the Jews that have non-Jewish friends, like their boss and their customers, and maybe their in-laws sometimes, if their wife or husband converted. It's an opportunity to have like peace. It's like it's a universal holiday. Why? We're not talking about JCPenney. We're not talking about the God of Israel. No one came out of Egypt on this day. So what's the problem of having a nice meal together? The problem is that according to the Gemara, Masechet Avodah Zarah, which is the actual halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, you're not allowed to have a seudah with goyim. You're not allowed. Why? Because if you have a seudah, you have a festive meal with non-Jews, you'll become, the Gemara says, comfortable enough with them where you're going to see there's no problem with my children marrying his children. His daughter's marrying my son's, chas v'shalom, my son's marrying his daughter's. Why? Because once you become comfortable with each other, you befriend each other, and you don't really see much of a difference. Oh, what's the difference between us? I'm God of Israel, you're some other one? Okay, we won't talk about it. Won't talk about it. Live and let live mentality. This is not allowed. This last one I mentioned before, but there's one thing that I don't think I mentioned before, but it is, I haven't seen it by Rav Moshe Feinstein, but I think that, of course, he thought this, but I don't think he thought even in his wisdom and kedusha that we would drop to such a horrible level in this generation, where Thanksgiving has become the official day for people to make Chilul Hashem. Why? Why is Thanksgiving the official day to make Chilul Hashem? The worst sin in the entire Torah. Why? Why is somebody, a Jew, eating a bunch of turkey the size of his head, is especially a day for him to commit Chilul Hashem? Because show me one Jew. One, not two, not three, not four, not five. Just one. One Jew that celebrates Thanksgiving that's as excited about any Jewish holiday as he is about Thanksgiving. Show me one Jew that is excited about Rosh Hashanah, the beautiful meals of Rosh Hashanah, as he is about Thanksgiving. Show me one Jew that is excited about Pesach, as he is about Thanksgiving. Show me one Jew that's even excited about Purim or Hanukkah, that's coming up, as he's excited about Thanksgiving. You're not going to find them. Why? Because Yetzirah doesn't show up for Thanksgiving. He shows up for Hanukkah, for Purim, for Pesach, for everything else he shows up. This, Rabotai, is the definition of Chilul Hashem, desecration of Hashem's name. We just took his Torah. We say, Hashem, we don't really like your Torah that much, so we're going to put it aside and become goyim a little bit. We like their holidays better. They're much more fun. We play football on this holiday. We eat turkey on this holiday. We can have our goyim friends over on this holiday. Isn't that, Hashem, maybe you should add this mitzvah to the Torah. Rabotai Yekarim, this Chilul Hashem is the type of sin that the tshuva for it only starts at death. It only starts with suffering. People always ask, oh, how come this happened to me? How come this happened to me? I lost money. I got sick. I got this. People ask all these questions. Why they have all these disasters happening to them? The Gemara says it. If you're seeing suffering happen to your life, check your actions. We just gave you a token. Free lunch. What's the free lunch? Check. Are you planning on celebrating this disastrous Chilul Hashem in a couple of days from now? Well, maybe you should consider not. Oh, but it's going to be very difficult telling my friends and family I'm not coming or I'm not hosting anymore. It's going to be very difficult. They're all going to hate me. They're all going to insult me. They're all going to tell me I'm fanatic. I shouldn't listen to you. I shouldn't listen to Hashem. I should be more peaceful. My rabbi says it's okay. Chabad is having a nice lunch at the Bet Knesset with us. This one is having it. And there's restaurants all over Los Angeles, my friend told me. All over Los Angeles that are preparing festive meals specifically for Thanksgiving. Kosher restaurants, an entire line of kosher restaurants. I'm sure, unfortunately, it's probably going to be in Florida, New York, and everywhere else also. I don't think Los Angeles is indeed different. But they're literally making special Thanksgiving meals. Kosher. Stuffing included too. Rabotai Karim, people ask, why do disasters happen? We should ask, why do we desecrate Hashem's name? We should ask. So far, we see that halachically speaking, there is no way that you could arrive at a leniency that you can celebrate this holiday on an annual basis. And even if you want to rely on a leniency, that you would do it once in your life, Rav Moshe Feinstein, alav Shalom, specifically says you should stay away from it anyway. If you did it b'diavad, or something happened, you did it on that day, it's one thing. You did it once, it's one thing. But if you're going to start doing it as a Yom Kavua, as a permanent day every year, you're going to do this like the Goyim do, then you, my friend, have a very, very serious problem. Now, this is enough that should hopefully make every religious Jew rethink, any Jew that calls themselves religious, rethink whether they're going to celebrate or have this turkey stuff. But there's another reason. As a Jew, you're obligated to ask questions, because the Torah tells us, in Pequod Massacre, that if you ask questions, you're bound to become a Talmid Chacham. If you don't ask questions, you're bound to become a fool. Either you're Chacham or a fool. Same price. You have to ask questions, meaning. So we have to ask a question, where does this holiday come from? Now most people are going to tell you, Abraham Lincoln, he came out, he made it a national holiday, 160 years ago approximately. He made it a national holiday. So that's why they celebrate as a day of Thanksgiving in 1863. What people don't actually realize is that when he said that this should be like a special day, it was in the middle of the Civil War, while there was thousands and thousands of people being killed in cold blood in the Civil War on a minute-by-minute basis. But he said to everyone, Rabotai, we have a lot to thank. We have a lot to be grateful for. Now, he's either the Baal Shem Tov or he's sociopath. There's something wrong here. But the reality is that Abraham Lincoln didn't start Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was originally started in the 1600s. When the English came to the U.S., became Americans, if you will, and decided they don't really like these Indians so much. We don't really like these red people. So you know what? Let's just kill them. And they started massacring thousands upon thousands of American Indians without any mercy whatsoever of whether they were man, woman, or child, whether they even had weapons on them, whether they actually even had fought back. Nothing. It didn't make a difference. Oh, you're red skin? Oh, we're going to kill you. Oh, well, you know what? You're kind of useful. We're going to make you into a slave instead. We're going to make you into a slave. No, but your brother, we're going to chop his head off, and then we're going to put it as like something for an ornament. An ornament. But this one, I'm going to use your teeth. The other one, I'm going to take your... Like, in psychopathic things they did to these people. Now, if you don't believe me, you can go on the internet. Or better yet, you can go to the museum that I went to. The museum in New York City, Manhattan, in downtown Manhattan, shocked me. When I went there years ago, they have something called the Trail of Tears. Now, the Trail of Tears sound like a really sad story about like a little bear that lost his way home or something. But it's not. What is the Trail of Tears? Is that these vicious people decided that killing Indians wasn't really enough on Thanksgiving. It's not enough. What should we do? We're going to walk them just going to walk them without feeding or giving them food or water or rest even. We're going to walk them from coast to coast, meaning from New York to Los Angeles. You can walk, no break. You go try walking to the store 15 minutes without stopping. They walked from coast to coast, Rabotai. I took a flight to Los Angeles. It took 6 hours. A flight is 6 hours. Needless to say, the vast majority of the American Indians died on this Trail of Tears. Tears meaning that they didn't stop crying either from pain and agony or physically, or pain and agony in seeing their family and friends die. Now some are going to tell you, yeah, but the Indians were vicious people. I don't know. I don't remember a time that the Indians did this to other people. But even if they did, doesn't necessarily give anybody else the right to torture anyone. The point is, Rabotai, is that any Jew with a little bit of Jewish neshama in them can start relating to these stories because the same exact thing happened to us. In the Bet HaMikdash, after Nebuchadnezzar Rasha destroyed the Bet HaMikdash, what did he do? He made us all walk until we either died or arrived at Bavel. The trail of blood and Bet HaMikdash destruction was like a river of blood. Tens and tens of millions, and some Midrashim say hundreds of millions of Jews died at the Bet HaMikdash, the first one and the second one. Point being, Rabotai Karim, is that although the numbers may not make sense to our little brains because we always like to compare things to today, according to the Torah, there used to be a lot more Jews than there are today. Either way, the vicious behavior that people act is not something we should ever celebrate. I'm not saying that the same people today are the people of yesterday, meaning you can't say that an American today is evil because his ancestor killed a bunch of Indians. You can't. They're not even connected. Just like an average black person that says, oh yeah, we suffered as slaves. You suffered? Do you even know anybody that was a slave? That was 100 years ago, 400 years ago. Well, it has nothing to do with you. You can't say that you're the same. You can't say you're the same. Maybe you feel persecuted for other reasons, but don't tell me you feel persecuted because of slavery. You were never a slave. Just like I can't tell you I was ever a slave in Egypt. I wasn't. But this reality does not give us the permission to celebrate massacres, to celebrate slavery, to celebrate the demise of any people. What if they decided to make a holiday where about 120 years ago they killed 30,000 Armenians in one day, 1906, 1907. They killed 30,000 Armenians in one day. What if we decide to make a holiday for it? Yay, this is the day 30,000 of those people died. What do you think the Armenians would feel like? How would this be honoring the Torah? The Torah that's full of mercy and Kedusha. Am Yisrael is celebrating the death of 30,000 Armenians? What if the Jews decided that, you know what, we want to celebrate a different holiday. we're going to celebrate the holiday that, you know what, the Americans and others decided to make all the black people slaves. And then they killed a bunch of them and tortured a bunch of them and pretty much didn't even let them go on a bus. In America, just 50, 60 years ago, you weren't even allowed to go on a bus unless it was a designated bus for you. We're going to celebrate that. We're going to celebrate the torture of the black people. How do you think the black people are going to feel? How are they going to feel? How are the white people going to feel? How is anybody with a brain going to feel? Say, you insane? This is the Torah. This is what the Torah is teaching you? To celebrate the demise of my grandfather, my great-grandfather, what's the matter with you? So I'm asking the black people that are even not Jewish, why are you celebrating it? If you don't want anyone to celebrate the demise of your ancestors, why are you celebrating the demise of somebody else's ancestors? You have to be fair. Meaning this is not even just Torah. This is just humanity. What if the whole world decided that, you know what, we have a special day. The Jews call it Memorial Day because 6 million people died in concentration camps under torture and all types of vicious death and experiments. We're going to all celebrate that day. They want to cry, we're going to say, ha ha! You cried, yeah, we did it. How are you going to feel about that, Am Yisrael? That the whole world is celebrating that 6 million of you died. It's not going to be so much fun, is it? Why? Because it's your ancestors, it's your grandfather, it's my grandfather, it's people that are related to you. So why are you celebrating it? I'm calling it Thanksgiving. You put a label on it saying Thanksgiving. You know what the Thanksgiving stood for? Thanks, they didn't have weapons, and we killed them. Thanks that we massacred. There was a massacre in 1627 or 1637. The Pequod Massacre. And they killed at least 700 unarmed Indians, American Indians. Meaning, it wasn't a war. If it's a war, it's different. A war, both sides agree something's going to happen here. Somebody's going to die. But when it's not a war, it's different. Then it's murder. And you're going to call it Thanksgiving? So now I'm not going to be able to change the minds of 400 million Americans, because who cares what this bearded Jew is saying? But hopefully I'm going to change the mind of a few of them. More importantly, I'm hoping to change the mind of the Jews, the American Jews. Because whether you're religious or not doesn't really make a difference anymore. Today we don't even know what religious means anymore. You just have to be human. That's it. You cannot tell me that under the current circumstances, you have the permission to celebrate the demise of people. Now you can tell me, no, but I'm not celebrating the demise. I'm just thanking God. Okay, thank God on another day. The original holiday was founded on this. If you want to thank God, thank Him on a different day. Why does it have to be this day? Thank Him on a different day. Thank Him the day before. Thank Him a day after, it's Shabbat. Thank Him 2 days later. Thank Him next week. Why does it have to be on this day? Why? Because it has the Tum'ah in it. So is anyone still confused if you're allowed to celebrate Thanksgiving or not?
No, I just have a question. Isn't Thanksgiving about the Pilgrims and the Indians getting along well?
That's the politically correct story from 1864. The real story starts at 1627. The nice story is that during the Civil War, a lot of people were dying. So people were losing hope. You start seeing bodies become mountains. You start losing hope. So Abraham Lincoln decided, you know what, let me listen to this journalist. The same journalist that wrote the song, Mary Had a Little Lamb. She was a very well-known journalist, and she was pitching for years to publicize a national holiday. And many states in America had such a holiday, and they called it Thanksgiving, but everyone did it on a different day. she pitched, and she wrote articles and books about it for many years, to make it one day. Abraham Lincoln said, you know what? Let's connect this journalist's idea with this particular idea from people not losing hope, but in reality, it's the same day, same time of what started a couple of 100 years ago. So they put a bow tie on a pig. That's all they did. In reality, Rabotai, that's not the real story. The real story of Thanksgiving starts 200 years before. It starts at a time of murder. It starts at a time of rape. It starts at a time of a lot of things that are awful, that none of us want to think about or know about, but the reality is it's very much a part of life. It's part of history. Celebrating Thanksgiving means that you are a part of that history. Whether you're celebrating it because you like football and a day off from work or not is irrelevant. If you really want to do any of those other things, you can do them on another day. You could do them on another day and still be called a human being. So with that being said, I'm hoping that this will put this issue to rest once and for all for anyone that's looking for the truth. If you're looking for sheker, you don't have to come here. You can go to a lot of other places to teach you sheker. Now, if you can ask me the last question, what about if my rabbi said it's okay? My rabbi said it's okay. And the answer is very, very, very simple. There's plenty of space in Gehenom for him too. No problem.